So good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's special presentation. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here as we highlight an incredible outcomes of the Fulbright Specialist program. My name is Diana Costa, Acting Executive Director at the Fulbright Commission in Peru, and it is my distinct honor to introduce our distinguished guest specialist, Dr. Georgia Kosmopoulou. Dr. Kosmopoulou is a professor of economics and senior associate dean for research in the Dutch Family College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Oklahoma. She received her PhD in economics from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and joined the University of Oklahoma in 1997 after teaching for a year at Virginia Tech. She is the recipient of the Edith Kinney Gaylord Presidential Professorship and the David L. Boren Professorship. Her research focuses on industrial organization, public policy, and game theory, with emphasis on auctions, pricing, networks, and firm behavior, particularly in relation to market dynamics and supply chains. Dr. Kosmopoulou has held leadership roles at the National Science Foundation, including Program Director in Economics, and received the NSF Director's Award for Superior Accomplishment in 2024. She currently serves as co-editor of Economic Inquiry and a Southern Economic Journal, and as associate editor of the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization. Professor Kosmopoulou has served as a member of the National Science and Technology Council Subcommittee on Frontiers of Benefit Cost Analysis, representing the National Science Foundation. She was also a member of the Digital Assets, R&D, DART, Fast Track Action Committee, FTAC, which was established by NITRD under a directive from the White House's Office of Science and Technology Policy. Please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Dr. Georgia Kosmopoulou. I will pass the microphone over to you, Georgia.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this discussion. I'm in the middle of my second week here in Arequipa, and I have genuinely enjoyed and learned from this experience. The people are wonderful here, and the warmth is just extraordinary.
Okay, so to kick things off, Georgia, let's dive into the core of your visit. Could you tell us what the main objective of the project was?
So the primary objective of the project was to help strengthen the research culture within the School of Economics at the Universidad Nacional de San Agustín in Arequipa. It was also to develop new research ideas for collaboration and to think through interdisciplinary research opportunities that would engage scholars from the School of Economics. My work as an associate dean for research at the University of Oklahoma has a lot to do with strengthening research and creating opportunities, so this was a perfect match for me. My goal was not simply to deliver workshops, but to work collaboratively with faculty, students, and leadership to identify practical strategies for integrating research more systematically into teaching, mentorship, and institutional planning. So the project focused on strengthening faculty research capacity, increasing students' engagement in research, and supporting the development of competitive research proposals that can attract external funding and lead to long-term academic growth.
Okay, thank you. So what activities did you carry out as part of the project during your stay in Peru?
So the project involved a 2-week series of activities with different stakeholder groups. I met with school leadership to discuss research priorities and institutional goals and ways to incentivize research. I did workshops for faculty to discuss a broader and more targeted integration of research into undergraduate education. I also led proposal development sessions focused on building competitive research projects, and I work directly with faculty interested in developing research agendas and collaborations. I had multiple discussion sessions with undergraduate students on research support and how to do publishable applied economic research as part of their thesis. I also did research presentation based on my recent work on NFTs and the resale market, and I discussed research focus, hypothesis, grounding to the literature, descriptive statistics, research analysis, that are all the core components of a solid research paper. So we discussed those with the students involved. Tomorrow, I'm planning to deliver a plenary lecture on interdisciplinary and convergence research to encourage faculty to take advantage of significant opportunities for participation in large projects. So it's been a busy 2 weeks, I would say, and it was wonderful so far.
Thank you. It sounds like an incredible, productive couple of weeks. Let's talk about the lasting legacy of this work. What visible changes did the project leave at the institution? Programs, methodologies, processes, or capacities?
Sorry, I'm in a common space here in my hotel, and there's a little bit of sound in the background. I apologize for this. One important outcome was the creation of a shared framework for discussing how research can be integrated more seamlessly across the undergraduate curriculum rather than being concentrated only in final thesis projects. We initiated a discussion about creating stronger connection with the alumni of the school and local industry to create more direct ties between curriculum development and the need for a student to find jobs. We talked about collaboration with industry, faculty engaged in conversation about progressive research training, research-based assignments. We talked about student mentoring, proposal development. We also discussed ways to strengthen support structures for faculty and students, and we explored opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration. Perhaps the most importantly, the project helped create momentum around viewing research as a continuous part of the educational experience rather than a separate activity. And it's always a challenge across institutions, not only in Peru, but everywhere. So those are the kind of activities we did.
Okay, thank you. And if you had to mention one key outcome of the project, what would it be and why?
The most important outcome, I think, was building a common vision around research as a central component of both education and institutional development. Universities strengthen their research capacity not through isolated activities, but by creating a culture in which faculty, student, and administrators share ownership of research and innovation. So the discussion during the visit helped identify practical pathways towards the goal towards the goal and establish the foundation for continued collaboration.
Thank you. Looking ahead, how does this project contribute to the institution's sustainability or strengthening in the medium term?
The project was intentionally designed around sustainability rather than focusing on short-term training alone. It emphasized building local capacity among faculty and leadership. The workshops, consultations, and planning discussion had as goal to create structures that can continue after the visit, including stronger undergraduate research pathways, improved proposal development process, and opportunities for future collaboration between UNSA and the University of Oklahoma. Sustainable impacts come from empowering local faculty and students to carry the work forward. So we talked about their interest in environmental research, development, and microfinance, and talked about the potential of collaboration across the institutions, which was important, and I hope it will be a sustainable outcome.
So one of the unique aspects of the Fulbright program is the intersection of high-level expertise with local realities. How did you adapt your experience and expertise to the local context so the impact was real and not just theoretical?
That's a very good question. The first step, I think, was listening. Before proposing solutions, I spent time learning about UNSA's priorities, challenges, and strengths. Rather than presenting a model that works at an American university and suggesting that it should be copied directly, we discussed how research integration, proposal development, and student engagement could be adapted to the realities of the local institutional environment. Throughout the workshops, I used examples connected to regional economic development, sustainability, public policy, and issues that are particularly relevant to Arequipa and southern Peru.
It's good to know. On a more personal note, what was the most transformative aspect of participating in this program on a personal level?
The most transformative aspect was seeing how similar the aspirations of faculty and students are across countries and institutions. Regardless of geography, people want opportunities to contribute knowledge, solve meaningful problems, create positive change in their communities. So the experience reinforced my belief that academic collaboration is most powerful when it's based on mutual learning. I arrived hoping to share expertise, but I also learned a great deal from colleagues and students in Peru about regional priorities, about innovation and community engagement. So it's a learning experience that was very significant for me.
Okay, so, and how did this experience influence the way you understand international academic or professional cooperation?
It strengthened my conviction that international cooperation works best when people are finding common ground. The most valuable partnerships are not based on one institution teaching another. They're based on shared learning and shared goals and adaptations. This experience demonstrated how universities can work together to address common challenges through research, through education, innovation, how respecting global expertise and context is important. That's exactly the spirit of the Fulbright program and one of the reasons it remains so impactful, I believe.
Yes, you're right about that's one of the reasons for the Fulbright program. So now we are going to pivot to a quick lightning round of Q&A. Attendees, feel free to drop any questions you have into the Zoom chat box as we speak. Georgia, if you had to define your experience as a Fulbright specialist in Peru in just one word, what would it be?
I would say it's partnership. Because the experience was fundamentally about building relationships, exchanging ideas, and creating opportunities that will continue beyond the duration of the visit. So partnership, I think, is the one word I would use.
And what was the biggest challenge you faced during your grant?
The biggest challenge was addressing ambitious institutional goals within a relatively short period of time. Research culture develops over years, right? So not weeks. So the challenge was identifying practical actions that could create momentum while recognizing that meaningful change requires long-term commitment. Of course, there is another challenge, a smaller challenge. It's a challenge of the language, but I'm learning a lot. And I start understanding a lot more. I have wonderful people who are translating what I say, and it's great to be able to communicate. And as those 2 weeks pass by, I start thinking sometimes in a few Spanish words. So I'm very excited about that.
And finally, what do you consider the greatest achievement of this visit?
The greatest achievement, I think, was the level of engagement from faculty and students and leadership. The workshops became genuine conversations rather than one-way presentations. And those discussions generated enthusiasm for future collaboration, for proposal development and research integration. The first day I had a session with students, we discussed engagement in research. We discussed their experiences, their successes and challenges. And after 2 hours of talking, I said that, this is the time to end the session. Then I heard a genuine sound of disappointment. For another half an hour, students lined up for individual conversations. It's an example of how impactful this exchange of ideas can be. And frankly, it came as a surprise to me. Students wanting to be there for 2.5 hours. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So before we conclude, Georgia, do you have a final message you would like to leave with our virtual audience today?
Of course. I would encourage faculty to consider the Fulbright Specialist program, to think of it not simply as an exchange visit, but as an opportunity to build lasting partnerships. The greatest value comes from bringing people together around shared goals and creating sustainable pathways for collaboration. For me, the experience in Arequipa reinforces the belief that research, education, and innovation are global activities that benefit from global collaboration. When institutions work together, they can learn from each other, strengthen their capacity, and develop solutions to challenges that affect communities around the world. This was also an amazing cultural experience. It's amazing to get to know these wonderful, warm people who invited me in their academic family and in their actual families, literally, and made my visit unforgettable. I'm genuinely grateful to Fulbright and the University of Nacional de San Agustin, the Dean, Dr. Edwin Bejar, Dr. Yeselia Cáceres, and to all the faculty and students who made my experience unforgettable. And I'm looking forward to continue the collaborations in the year ahead.
Of course, it's good to know that the university has welcomed you and has accompanied you during your stay. So it looks like we do not have questions in the chat box. So thank you very much, Dr. Kosmopoulou, for your tireless work, your brilliant insights, and the lasting impact you've made during your Fulbright grant. We are now going to switch to Spanish to talk more about this opportunity, the Fulbright Specialist. Para que puedan compartirlo con las instituciones y podamos recibir un poco más de especialistas en lo que queda del año. Voy a compartir una presentación. Creo que ya se ve. Sí, vamos a ver. Ok. Entonces, la beca Fulbright Specialist es una beca cost-shared. Es una beca que está dirigida a instituciones de educación superior, gubernamentales, culturales, no gubernamentales, médicas y de salud públicas o privadas que estén en Lima o en las provincias, la cual tiene una duración mínima de 14 días y máxima de 42 días. La beca Fulbright Cost Shared cubre lo que son los honorarios del especialista, los pasajes internacionales y un seguro médico durante la estadía del especialista. La institución que desee financiar la otra parte de la beca debe cubrir el transporte dentro del Perú. En el caso, el especialista debe viajar a las provincias, o el transporte local. Debe cubrir también el alojamiento, la alimentación y costos esenciales para que el especialista pueda desarrollar su proyecto. Este año los temas prioritarios son inteligencia artificial, espacio, minerales críticos e ingenierías. Los proyectos deben tener un enfoque educativo o de capacitación y deben estar adaptados a las necesidades de la institución anfitriona. Los objetivos deben ser alcanzables en el tiempo en el que el especialista puede estar en el Perú, como lo comenté, de 14 a 42 días. Algunos ejemplos de actividades que un especialista puede desarrollar son dictar seminarios o talleres, realizar consultorías sobre desarrollo docente o laboral, desarrollar planes de estudio, de capacitación y materiales académicos, dar conferencias, ya sean a nivel pregrado o posgrado, y realizar valoraciones o evaluaciones de necesidades para un programa o institución. Les pedimos que por favor nos sigan en nuestras redes para estar al tanto de nuestras siguientes convocatorias. Ahora sí, voy a... Ahí me dejó cerrar esto. Now let's go back to English. So, thank you so much for joining us today. I highly encourage the institutions that are here or the persons that are here to encourage your institutions to apply for this Fulbright Specialist program. So, because it offers a unique opportunity to host a premier global US academics and professionals for a short-term collaborative projects. Thank you all for logging on today, for your engagement, and for being part of this remarkable journey. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me too. Thank you.